Heyo guys, my name is Beta Eta Delota, and today I wanted to talk about something a bit different. Now this is furry related, as most of my videos usually are, but I wanted to give my take on this idea and how I think furries should approach the situation in the future, especially online. It's the idea of why people aren't furries, or in a more specific context, why people choose to not be a part of the furry fandom despite aspects of their life or hobbies interweaving with the fandom's common themes. You know, the more I think about it, this title does seem a bit accusatory and pompous, but that's not my intention with this at all. It's just, I've seen this basic situation happen over and over where an individual online will have some interest in cartoon animals or art relating to the fandom. Generally, it's a well-known individual this will happen to, where furries may reply to some tweet or video that very closely relates to the furry fandom and will label them as a furry either as a joke or a serious thing, which I'd assume that 99% of these furry accusations are jokes with a more playful nature, or at least I'd hope they are. This sometimes results in arguing between the fans and the furries about whether it was a joke or not because people take Twitter seriously. This happened to me sort of when I half-heartedly asked if Saberspark was a furry. It's just Twitter, guys, calm down. And videos are sometimes made about the ordeal and people just go about their normal lives like a week after it. It's like furry drama. Wait, no, it's not like furry drama, it is furry drama. But regardless, the situation itself still remains, and most of the time, no answer is given on why they are or aren't a furry. And the first one is the easiest to answer. I've done that multiple times already. So today, let's talk about why people aren't furries, and how an interest in anthropomorphic cartoon animals doesn't exactly relate to an immediate correlation to the furry fandom. So to start things off, I want to go back to two very special videos which kind of jump-started my journey into the furry fandom. The 7 levels of being a furry, and the video I did a year later on Furgatory. Still can't believe I did those videos. With regards to Furgatory, we concluded that it was pretty much level 0 in the furry fandom interest, and was set for people who might appear to have some relation to furries through their online persona, general interest in cartoon animals or animation, but don't have that intention of joining the furry fandom or having any relation to it. We used one of my old friends Lord Bung as an example, showing how with his Triceratops character and his art style being rather cartoony, he had interests that resembled those of a furry, but in the end had no actual intention of being a furry. Hence him condoning my video and trying to get out of that stereotype. And even going back to the original 7 levels video, like even before it when I was putting it all together. Like I'm not even kidding when I say this, and I really feel bad about it because I missed out on a really big opportunity, but I almost got Raccoon Eggs to be a part of it. But back when him and I were just acquaintances in the commentary community, I brought the idea up to him, as his raccoon character would be a perfect fit for the video. Also, he was just downright entertaining even back then, so what could honestly go wrong? And although he liked the idea I proposed for the video, he didn't want to associate with anything furry related, especially with the current YouTube persona he had. So for him, it was more of that he just wasn't a furry, he didn't want to be a furry, and probably the biggest thing was not wanting any association with the furry hobby. Easy, simple answer, and completely reasonable. Well, sort of completely reasonable. And his tone wasn't negative or hateful towards furries, but it seemed like the general stigma and his peers' opinions towards the fandom was what swayed him away from even doing a video pretty much trashing furries. Which I'm not gonna lie, the tone I portrayed in that video wasn't that optimistic. Now we could just end things here, we got our answer pretty much squared away, but there's still this issue that I kind of want to answer with the whole relation to the furry fandom thing. It relates to Lord Bung condoning my video and even Raccoon Eggs not wanting to be a part of it. And that alone has to do with the social stigma towards furries. The whole sex with animals and wearing fetish suits around kids thing that has always lingered as what uneducated or mostly just ignorant people see furries as. The stigma issue doesn't just exist back then. Granted, the overall negative perception towards furries online was pretty bad, but even now when it's seen generally as just a chill hobby, that stigma is still there. I mean, just not as present. You'll still have the edgy teens or kids who indulge in cringe culture who will still misconstrue what the fandom is about. Hell, I was even part of that toxicity problem towards furries a long while back, yet I didn't know why people were scared of that relation to them. But I'm very much digressing. The point is that people might not be furries for two reasons. The first being that they just don't want to, or might look towards the fandom with fascination but no real interest. It's completely reasonable because of the amount of people interested in arts and animation and how those two fields intertwine with what the furry fandom is really about. It's just got to be kept in mind for those that might just not want to be a furry. And the second reason being the stigma or even peer pressure from others, which is especially the case in the younger crowd. The furry fandom does a pretty good job at being creative and bringing several passions to life through art and media, which attracts a lot of people, both furries and non-furries. Even anthropomorphization, which is kind of one of the big things with regards to furries. furries is a universal concept that a lot of companies utilize to market to the most people they can in terms of selling their product, and this is no exception in online media. That's the thing, people can be fans of this kind of stuff and not want to be part of the fandom. You just gotta keep that in mind with people who might not want that label. And whether it's because of the association or whatever else, just respect their decision with it. It's okay to be a furry, but to also not be a furry. Like, even in the meaning itself, it can either be the interest in the hobby or an identity itself to the fandom, and everyone has their own definition for it. Maybe you have someone who doesn't want to identify as a furry, but might be interested in partaking in fandom activities with conventions and art. Even for people who might be interested in the fandom, you don't just shove them in, you metaphorically shove them in, as in you let them discover it through inviting them to stuff or showing them your art or being a furry YouTuber that does informational videos on the furry fandom. But as some non-furries have let furries live their life and be happy, I think we, as a fandom, should let non-furries live their life and be happy as well. And the big thing everyone's wondering because of the thumbnail and title of this video: is your favorite content creator a furry or showing signs of being a furry because of an interest in anthropomorphic animals? Who knows? But ultimately, it's up to them if they want to be or not. You can speculate it all you want and make meme videos, I guess. And I say this as I'm thinking about making a follow-up video on why your favorite content creator isn't a furry, because I have some pretty good reasons why. And though if they want to meme their interest in the fandom or show off their fursuit from a well-known suit maker, that's an entirely different story. But hey, live and let live. If people don't want to be furries, then let them. That's the moral of this story, I think. And on that note, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments as always. I did want to clarify as well, since a lot of you have been asking me, I do accept fan art that you guys might have made for me. I want to start featuring fan art from you all more in these videos because I really love the art that I've received, and how you guys managed to bring Maverick to life is just, oh, I love it so much. If you want to potentially get fan art featured in a future video, this is probably the best way to do it. I don't want to guarantee anything with that either, as I receive a lot from time to time and it's kind of hard to keep up. I generally check Twitter, Fur Affinity, and my business email if you wanted to send any you might have there. My other social medias are linked in the description if you wanted to show some support on my other stuff, along with my Patreon if you're feeling generous, but besides that, I've really got nothing else. Have an awesome day, guys, and as always, stay life jacket. Take care.